Excellent babes, how are we doing today? Hello, hello. And I was walking along the beach here and I was thinking about us and our journey as excellent babes and where it really began. Like when did this feeling of not being enough start? And as I was walking along, tripping on rocks and watching dogs play in the water and apples fall from the tree, first of all, I'm so grateful. And second of all, I was thinking about, when we're babies, and so many of my friends are having kids right now. And the big thing is, what percentile are they in? And as they get older, it's like, who's standing up by themselves first and who's walking first? And they're celebrated, who is reading first and how fast are they reading. And we are, from a very young age, we are celebrated, which is amazing, for things that we do and how fast we grow and how we compare. And that's the word, is compare, how we compare to others. And we go to school and then it's the grades, like how do we compare with the other kids in our grades? Are we in the average of the class? Are we gonna skip a grade? Are we getting the best grades? Are we on the honor roll? And we are celebrated for these things. And again, it's not a bad thing to celebrate. However, it can instill in our brains at a very young age that element of competition. And I know that, or I've experienced, I don't have my own kids, unfortunately, and breast implants, I believe, played a huge part in that. And everything happens for us and not to us, as Tony Robbins says. So I'm finding gifts in that, and you are one of the gifts. So thank you for watching and being here. And I'm just thinking about relieving the guilt, releasing our guilt from ourselves for how we learn to compare ourselves with our friends as we get older. Because if we're compared when we're babies to our percentage, and then we're compared as we go to school, and then when we play sports, there's the first place, second place, third place ribbon, and the parents say there shouldn't be a participation ribbon because it's all about the sport of winning. And then there's other parents that say, of course there should be a participation ribbon, everybody should win. And I don't know what side I fall on. I used to fall on the side that, of course, there has to be a winner. And now, going through this breast explant journey and reflecting on the implant journey, I'm starting to see that there's a dark side to the competition. And the competition never really ends. And so when I was 23 years old, I had a successful career already. I mean, I was modeling successfully as a little girl. Obviously at 6 months old, they weren't looking at my breast size. But I did beat out a bunch of little babies to be in a commercial when I was a baby. And so it's learned so very young. You have your own story. It might not be modeling, however, I guarantee that you have your own story. And from there, I was chosen for a photo shoot, I was chosen for a modeling shoot, I was chosen on some TV shows and some commercials, and it became all about vanity. It became all about how smart I was, or how sweet I was, or how nice I was on a set, or how tall I was, and how blonde my hair was. And oh my gosh, I'm just thinking like of all these contributing factors that I when I got to a certain age, I didn't think that I was enough just to exist. I had to have the blondest hair, or the bluest eyes, or the nicest skin, or the sweetest smile, and I started to believe that was my identity, and that's who I had to to belong. And I wonder if you can relate to that. Gosh, I'm just, and how do we avoid that? I don't know. But it's been so part of my healing journey just to recognize those moments that led me up to the moment where I decided to implant. Because my modeling career, I was a Price is Right Barker's Beauty. I competed against over 7,000 women and got the spot to be on the Price is Right as one of Bob Barker's Beauty. And yet I still didn't think that I was enough. I was chosen for a shoot in Europe. I was chosen for a shoot in Mexico. And, I would go and I would be rejected 200 times before I would get a gig. And then I would get a gig, and I would believe that it was because I didn't eat for a week before I went. So I had great abs and a tiny little waist, or because I had just gotten my nails done, and so that's why I got the gig. Or, you know, I made up all these stories in my head, or maybe they were true as to why I got these gigs, but I still never felt like I was enough. Like me, my heart, my empathy for human beings, my compassion for animals, my mind that thinks clearly, and my eyes that appreciate life, and, you know, the time that I take to pay for a coffee for somebody behind me, or whatever the case may be. I never felt like I was enough. There always had to be more. I had to be more. And I can think of times even with my grandfather where if I was a good little girl, I would get this or that. You know, with my parents, if I got great grades, I would get the roller skates that I wanted. They were roller skates back then. That's how I'm aging myself. And then I would think, I just like, maybe if you are willing to go back and think about the moments in your life that have contributed to where you are right now, I think that could be really a great part of your healing journey. To think about the contributing factors, the contributing moments that led you to believing that you weren't enough. Because let's face it, ladies, everybody gets an implant, breast implant, or Botox, or lip injections, or eyebrows, because we don't feel like we're enough, or lose weight, go to the gym. We don't feel like we're enough as we are. I don't know anybody that does it for other reasons. I really don't. And we can say we don't, but then if we lift the layers, it usually comes back to that. I feel like I'm getting bitten on my feet here, and I need to make sure I'm not standing on an anthill. I'm by the beach, and I just propped my phone up in a tree so that I could see you because the sun is so bright. And I was just, you know, walking along the beach here, tripping over stones and watching dogs play in the water, and I'll turn the camera around for you shortly and show you where I am. And I was just thinking about these things, and I wanted to stop and share. And all these contributing moments that, you know, if you do this, you'll be a good girl and I'll love you. If you do this, you'll be a good girl and you'll get the roller skates. If you do this and you're a good girl, blah, 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 whatever it is. Did you have moments like that? Can you remember moments like that? If you did something, you would get love. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, we're trading a part of ourselves to be loved. And that, for me, says that we don't think that we're enough. And maybe it's getting great grades. Maybe it's getting 6 degrees. Maybe it's, you know, continually educating and getting a course after another course after another course. And the scary part is that it never ends. So when I get to the Price is Right, I'm a spokesmodel for a very large American corporation where I'm traveling all over North America to multiple cities, signing tens of thousands of autographs of myself as part of a modeling campaign. And I still don't feel like I'm enough. I still don't feel like I'm enough. And agents are turning me down for certain gigs, and I get breast implants. You know, the days of Baywatch were huge, and all the girls were like well-endowed Barbie dolls. They all had these big breasts and platinum hair and tiny little waists. And I felt like that's how I needed to be in order to go to the next level, and in order to love myself, in order to attract a great relationship into my life, to compete with the girls in the modeling agency, to be a model scout. I was a model scout. I owned a modeling agency. I was a part owner in a modeling agency in my early 20s in Florida. And I used to model scout. I would go to I would go to nightclubs, I would go to cafes, and I would look for beautiful girls and I would model scout them. And I taught runway, and I taught confidence on a runway in my agency. And I was really good at what I did, and yet inside I never felt like I was enough. And I still went and I got these breast implants. And fast forward 25 years, I had them and I got them out, and that's a whole other video. This video really is just about acknowledging yourself and recognizing that there's multiple factors that contributed to you getting implants. So if you're struggling with shame or guilt or anger for why you did this to yourself, if you're struggling with self-esteem issues, if you're struggling with breast implant illness, autoimmune disorders, skin rashes, you've got hives, you've got allergies, you've got brain fog, you're struggling with your identity, with your self-esteem, your marriage is having issues, you're having a hard time relating to your kids because you're so lethargic and exhausted from the toxic heavy metals that are in your body from your implants, and you're looking to make peace with yourself before you explant or after you explant because you're looking down at your scars. I really want to say that I love you and that you matter and that you're enough, and your scars are not what make you. Your breasts are not what define you. It's your heart that's underneath them that defines you. It's your smile that sets you apart. It's your energy and your love for life and your passion and your compassion. It's you stopping to open the door for a mom that's got her kids in her arms, or an older person that's on a cane or a walker. It's, saving the dog from a hot car. That's what makes you a beautiful human. Contributing to children that are starving in a third world country, or helping to pull kids out of sex slavery, or whatever your cause is. These are the things that, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that make you a beautiful, compassionate human being. That you don't have to do any of these things. Just being born, there are, trillions of combinations that had to happen for you to be here at this time in the world. So you're enough. You're enough. You are enough. Being here is enough. You're one of a kind. There's no one in the world like you. No one has your smile. No one has your story. No one has your life. No one has your mind, your heart. No one has your story. You're not an imposter. You're not a fraud. You're not less than anyone else. You're perfect. Perfectly imperfect. You're beautiful. So forgive yourself. If you're having a hard time with it, grab a journal, do some journaling, and go back and look at some of the contributing factors. And if you want to get angry, get angry. Just do your best to work through the anger and get to the peace, because the peace is where it's at. The peace is where it's at. And I'm not there yet, but I'm really, really close. And I just wanted to share that message with you. I love you. And here is a shot of the beach. This is where I am. The sunset will be happening soon. Beautiful stretch of beach here I'm on the Pacific coast. Nice set of beach. Right over there, that is the Canada-US border. It's right there. Low tide, you can walk to the border because the tide goes out so far. And I'm about a 2-hour drive to Seattle. So it's beautiful here. And here is my tree where I was propping up my phone. And here, there's apples on the ground because there's an apple tree over there. And there are hundreds of apples on the ground. So I think I'm going to grab a few on my way home. Anyway, that's it. Have an amazing day. I appreciate you. I love you. You are a babe. Implant babe, explant babe. Just know you're a babe. You matter. You're enough.